Leave me alone, I'm going to the supermarket. And that's what I did. I went to the supermarket and I was a little bit drunk. Now, it's fun going to the supermarket when you're drunk. I recommend it. You end up buying some unusual things that you will never need, like a can of Borlotti beans and some Calgon tablets. Good thing is, if you're not drunk already, you can just grab a few cans of beer and drink them as you go on the way round. So you can... I bought a few things this evening, including 8 Muller Light blueberry yoghurts. A few years ago, when I bought 9 yoghurts all in one go, the lady at the supermarket checkout said...
"Ooh, someone likes yoghurt."
And I was offended by her mocking tone, as I don't like yoghurts any more than the average lactose-tolerant consumer. I like them a normal amount. I just buy them in bulk so they will last for a longer time, so I don't have to keep going to the shop. I can just get them out of the fridge. I wrote a long routine defending myself, which you can see if you buy my DVD, Someone Likes Yoghurt, from www.gofasterstripe.com, which actually you should really listen to before if you haven't heard it, because it'll make this a bit funnier. So if you haven't heard it, pause the podcast now, send off for the DVD, and watch it before you continue listening. It might take a few days for that to happen. Just why not make yourself a pumpkin while you're waiting? But pause it now, and then I'll tell you when to start again. It's not going to work, is it, thinking about it? But, well, anyway, since that day, I've realised that 9 yoghurts is a ridiculous and laughable amount of yoghurt for one man to buy on his own. So now I never buy more than 8 yoghurts in one go, and no one has ever mocked me again. Today, though, when I got to the checkout, I realised that there was some leaked yoghurt on my groceries. Perhaps in my drunkenness, I'd put the yoghurts in the basket too aggressively. That might have caused the damage, but let's not apportion blame here, and if we do, let's apportion it to the yoghurt pot manufacturers. As regular yoghurt purchasers who neither like or hate yoghurt more than a normal person will know, yoghurts are prone to such mishaps in the supermarket. Their taut foil lids can get spiked by something like a carrot or the edge of a box of Calgon. And they can sometimes just peel off as the yoghurt jostles for position amongst the other non-yoghurt items. I think we've all been there. Is this thing on? It's more annoying when this happens after you've purchased the yoghurt and it's in your carrier bag on the way home, because then there's nothing you can do, isn't it, eh? You know... Michael McIntyre makes this observational stuff look a lot easier than it actually is. So, anyway, I was fortunate that I'd spotted the defective ruined yoghurt before it had been scanned. I should have just told the man on the checkout, but in my drunkenness, I was worried he might accuse me of deliberate yoghurt sabotage, make me pay for the useless broken yoghurts, and I didn't want to make a fuss or lose my place in the queue or have to send someone out to go and replace the yoghurt. There were still 7 yoghurts left, wasn't there? So it should see me through at least 3.5 days, probably a week, probably more. I don't eat that much yoghurt, as I said. So my evil drunken brain decided the best thing was to put the damaged yoghurt in the pile of empty baskets under the conveyor belt, and no one saw the perfect crime. But then I noticed that another of my yoghurts had also been punctured. It was getting yoghurt on the conveyor belt and on my other food items. Deftly, I placed that yoghurt in the basket as well, just seconds before the next customer arrived behind me. Had he seen? I didn't think so. Unless some pesky kids were going to launch some kind of independent investigation into this, it looked like I had gotten away with it. But the man behind me had now emptied his own basket and wanted to place the empty basket in the pile of empty baskets, but he couldn't because of my broken yoghurts. Oh. I just kept staring ahead. I didn't want to tip him off. I assumed he'd realised that the yoghurts had been deliberately placed there. Surely he'd just put his basket underneath mine, or maybe on top of it, ignoring the yoghurts. It didn't really matter, did it? It wasn't his problem. Understanding that whoever put them there decided against purchasing the yoghurts, but he wasn't going to let this go. He looked at me, he addressed me.
Are these yoghurts yours?
I couldn't believe he was drawing attention to this. I was just minutes away from leaving the supermarket scot-free and leaving the yoghurts behind, and here he was shouting out about them to all and sundry. He must have known they were mine. It was obvious. You don't have to be Professor Layton to work that out. I had 6 blueberry yoghurts on the conveyor belt in front of me. If you look closely, there was blueberry yoghurt smeared on my groceries and between my fingers, and the 2 broken blueberry yoghurts were in the top basket of the pile of used baskets, like the last person who'd used them had put them. Everything pointed towards me being the yoghurt dumping culprit.
Excuse me, are these your yoghurts?
But I came up with a brilliant ruse to get out of this. I said, no. He didn't know what to say. It was such a blatant lie that it was unanswerable. He'd assumed I would own up, given that they obviously were my yoghurts, but I thought it was equally obvious that I didn't want the yoghurts and I was going to deny any knowledge of ever having seen them. It was just a crazy coincidence, all the stuff. I was going to be brazen about this.
Oh, right. Are you sure?
Those yoghurts are nothing to do with me.
It's just there's some yoghurts in the basket, so I can't get my basket in.
What was wrong with him? It was obvious that the yoghurts were mine, but I didn't want them, and they weren't massively inconveniencing. Yes, I shouldn't have selfishly tried to hide the problem away so inexpertly, but what was done was done. There was no point in crying over spilled yoghurt. Why didn't he just leave it? Was he drunk at 7:30 on a Thursday evening? It's disgusting. He was clearly trying to drop me in it. A member of staff passed.
Excuse me, someone's put 2 yoghurts in this basket. I can't put my basket in because of the yoghurts.
I wanted to shout, Jesus Christ, man! Why are you doing this? You're trying to get me sent to prison? Of course the fucking yoghurts were mine, but they got broken and I didn't want them. I don't want to get into trouble or have to bother explaining to myself. Just start a new pile of baskets and shut your stupid mouth. But I didn't. I didn't say that, though, because that would have given it away. I just stared ahead as if none of this was anything to do with me. Luckily, the member of staff didn't care.
Oh, yeah, they look like they're leaking. Someone probably dumped them. I'll take them away for you.
The man's plan to bring me down had failed. You thought you'd get me into trouble, didn't you? Man behind me in the Waitrose queue. Well, fuck you. I broke those yoghurt through my own crapulous clumsiness and then dumped them without paying for them, losing Waitrose tens of pence of revenue, and there's nothing you can do about it. Fuck you, man behind me in the supermarket. Suck my mother's homemade toffee. I defeated you. And do you know what I did when I got home, snitch? I ate a delicious yoghurt. And then had a wank. Thinking of your stupid, complaining face. Covered in yoghurt. Yum, yum, yum. I think I might finally have snapped. It's what's known in the business as doing a Johnny Ball.
As it occurs to me, yeah, most comedians have no overlong routines about buying yogurt from supermarkets. But Richard Herring, he has 2 overlong routines about buying yogurt from supermarkets. Yeah, take that, other comedians. Y'all are bitches.